Now, you might have heard of the saying that the first crore is the hardest. And it's not just a saying, it's basically every interview that you may watch of people who've made a few crores. They will always say that it was the hardest to make the first crore. And it's true because of something known as the wealth acceleration effect, because of which your wealth actually accelerates after the first crore. Now, Brian Tracy is one of my favorite sales coaches, and I used to listen to his audiobooks when I was learning about sales around 12 years ago. And he says the first million is the hardest, but the second million is inevitable, which means that once you've made your first million, and I'm talking about people who have made the first million or the first crore in our case by themselves, not people who inherit the first crore or who get the first crore by chance, but people who have gone through the process. Because once you've gone through the process, there are certain things that happen that allow you to make every next crore with ease. Now, in case of my journey, I made my first crore in the first 10 years that I started working. And in the next 4 years, I actually made $1 million. So I went from 1 crore to 8.5 crores in just 4 years. The fact of the matter is that you open up yourself to a certain position of getting more opportunities. You unlock those untapped opportunities that allow you to accelerate that wealth. And your investments also start compounding and have a major impact on your growth. So let's look at a few things that happen. The first thing that happens is that you become a person who can make a crore. Now, this is very different than just being able to make money. A person who can make a crore has gone through a certain shift in the mindset, but also a certain improvement in their character. They have built the kind of discipline to learn new skills, the process to add value to businesses, to add value to companies in certain way, to add value to people in order to make money for themselves. So you become the kind of character who can make a crore. And once you become a person who can make the first crore, then you can follow the same process and achieve the second crore. Now, the second crore comes faster than the first one. For me, it was 10 years for the first crore and around 2 years to the second crore, because money is a multiplication game. It's not an addition game. When you start to make money, you feel it's an addition game because you have to do the same amount of work to make the first 50,000 rupees that you need to do to make the second 50,000 rupees. But once you have, let's say, 10 lakhs to 20 lakhs, you can see some taste of this multiplication. It actually starts at 10 lakhs. You can see it at 20 lakhs. You can see it at 50 lakhs. You can get some taste of it. But when you have a capital like 1 crore, then you can really taste the multiplication. When you go to 4 crores, when you go to 5 crores, then you rarely see the magic. Because for me, for example, I went from 5 to 8 crores within a period of 1.5 years. And that's when I really got the taste of the multiplication. So it's a multiplication game. And you need that amount of capital to actually see this multiplication being reflected in action. So that's the second thing that happens. The third thing that happens is that you build leverage, right? So there are different forms of leverage. Now, you have a certain limited amount of network. Let's say you're doing a job, you meet with the same people every day, you work in the same company, you have your bosses who really don't want you to grow 10x in 1 year. They just want you to grow at 30% every year or 20% every year, right? But when you have this expanded network, because as someone who's trying to make the first crore as quickly as possible, you will have to expand your network to more high net worth individuals so that you can tap into opportunities which are not available to everyone else. And you have to do it by outreach, by actively networking with people. You also start to build your skills. You start to build communication skills. You start to build your core skill. For me, it's marketing, for example. For some people, it's design. For some people, it's content. For some people, it's software. For some people, it's product. Whatever skill that you have in which you provide that skill and by manner of which you exchange the value for money, that's again a form of leverage that you build. When you have this experience of working with different kinds of clients and companies and so forth, you also have additional experience versus doing the same thing or doing the same job. And you also build connections when you're active in the networking space in whichever industry you're in. So all of these forms of leverage. Now, leverage is not just about having money and having people that work for you and having, content, etc. It's also about your own skills, your own network. You must have heard that your network is your net worth. So the more you expand your network, the more opportunities you can tap into. Now, as someone who's made your first crore, you've definitely learned how to tap into these opportunities. And this leverage gives you more momentum going forward to your second crore, to your third crore, to your fourth crore, and so on. You see, momentum is what drives the future crores. You're already in the momentum. And that happens only when you have this capital of 1 crore, because before that, you're still in a struggling phase where you're saying, I want to get to the first crore as quickly as possible. But once you're there, you've seen the process, you've now built this network that you can tap into. So, skills is something which is completely in your control. So, the more you learn, the more you earn. Today, we are in a digital ecosystem. And if we can develop some digital skills on the side, whether or not we are from the digital space or not, we will have high value skills that we can exchange for money in the digital economy. And when you can develop these skills, you can exchange it for money, and you keep improving the skills over time. The more you learn, you will see that it compounds. And this has been true in any stage, whether in the agricultural stage, you had certain skills, but you could only exchange for the number of hours you worked. And then we have the technological revolution, but now we are in a digital ecosystem followed by AI. If you can learn these skills and if you can implement them to solve problems for businesses, that's how you can earn more money. Now, the other thing that happens is you build discipline. I've seen people who have a few lakh rupees who are very good with trading, and I've seen people who have crores of rupees who are very happy putting all their money in an index fund because that gives them consistent, disciplined growth while having their important time, energy, and focus on increasing the income rather than increasing the return rate on the investment. So you learn how to be disciplined about learning, about acquiring new skills. You learn how to be disciplined about investing, whether it's through automation with SIPs, whether it's through index funds, whether it's through a minimalist, simplest approach, simple approach to investing. But you also have discipline to continuously grow. So you build this discipline over the years after you've made a certain amount of money. And this first crore is actually the magic time. This is the time when all the magic is going to happen for you and you're future ready to grow your income after that, right? So this discipline is built during this time. The fifth thing, and this is important, the initial few lakhs, you try to use that money to impress other people, to buy a bigger car, to buy a bigger house. But slowly you will go out of this middle class trap, right? And I found this sort of tweet which I liked, the middle class trap: upgrading your lifestyle the minute your income goes up. Instead, you use your income to buy cash flowing assets instead of having to think about what people will think, how do I upgrade my lifestyle? And then once you buy those cash flowing assets, for example, I put my apartment on lease recently. I'm getting a few $100s from there. I put my assets to work. Maybe I built a dividend portfolio. Maybe I have enough in a fund that gives me back some dividends. Whatever different ways that I can develop cash flow. Maybe it's a passive income stream. Maybe it's a side hustle, like a freelancing hustle. Maybe it's a YouTube channel. Whatever that I can invest into in order to give me cash flow, and then use that additional cash flow, if at all needed, to fuel your lifestyle, not to just keep increasing your lifestyle to show off to others. And this happens for some people. It may not happen for everyone, but for me, I never got into this trap. And that really helps to compound your wealth, because now that capital can work for you. The money can work for you to make more money instead of the money working for you to impress someone. And anything that you buy, any product that you buy, whether it's a car or a house, you're going to hit a baseline dopamine level with that product at a certain point, whether it's in 1 month or 2 months. It's just going to become the new normal. So you're not going to derive that additional happiness from that upgrade after some period of time. And the earlier you understand that, the more you save, and the more you save, the more you invest, the more you invest, the more compounding works in your favor. So those are 5 things that happen. Now let's finish with the point of how to make your first crore. And I'm not going to show you like 7 steps or 5 steps, because I have a separate video on how I would make my first crore if I had to start all over again. So make sure to watch that video if you want the answer to that. But I want you to give 3 words. I want to share these three words with you: grow, maintain, and automate. If you can grow your income, just maintain your savings rate, and automate your investments, that's something that has particularly worked well for me, where I've focused on growing my income, just maintaining my savings rate, and automating my investments. And that's what has led to this growth for me. I wish you all the best for your investment journey, and I hope it works out in your favor as well. Ciao.